Yeah.
It's right there. I'm like, oh my God. Like, yeah, because I think January is going to be bad. I think like when I pull the cards, it's heavy. When I say bad, I don't mean, but it's going to be heavy. And I hate to use this, but the strong will survive. And the posers will be exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the messages that I'm getting, because you can't keep that high. This is good content. I shouldn't be talking, but you can't keep this high vibration.
It's recording.
Oh, great. Oh, okay. So you even got me fixing myself. That's great.
Yeah. No, my thing goes on. It records automatically.
Oh, okay.
So.
Because I mean, you can't keep faking a high vibration. You can't keep going out there and promoting yourself constantly and think that you're giving back. I mean, it's just like nails on a blackboard to me. And I know you pick it up too when you're flipping through and you're going through and you're watching stuff. I mean, it's great to promote, because yes, we have, rents and mortgages and power, gas and electric to pay for, and food. Yeah. But I mean, there comes a point when,
well, there's an energy of desperateness behind it. And it doesn't work for either one. It doesn't work for the people you're trying to sell to, but it doesn't work for you either.
No.
Because and that's what I was struggling with in sort of October, November, beginning of December, because I was feeling desperate. And then I was trying to work, but nothing would come to me. Like I could not, like I wanted to post a blog. I'm like, I got nothing.
Yeah.
Like I was just nothing. And basically I was in the void is what it was. I was in the void. And so I couldn't, but there was the desperateness. And then I'm like, okay. And then and Mondays seemed to be interesting days for me the last few weeks. And the one Monday I'm like, it was I'm trying to think of it. It was what do you call it? I think it was the eclipse. The lunar eclipse one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was not in a good place, but I knew I'm like, well, this is an important day. I need to get myself vibing high.
Yeah.
So I was doing everything, listening to.
Well, and Monday was also cloudy and overcast here where we are. Mm-hmm. And so if you visually need a prompt, I think it was testing. I think it was testing us, because in most places of the world we couldn't see it because of storms and overcast skies and stuff. So it was really testing us as humans. Yeah. Do you really believe it's there when it's not there? Yeah. If you physically can't see it, do you believe this? You buy into this? Yeah. And I think I think I saw it, but I felt it. I freaking felt it more than anything. So
are you talking about this, the eclipse, or are you talking about the star?
The star and
one.
the eclipse, like even anything like trying to see it if you don't see it, even a moon, like people get so upset because it's a full moon and they can't see it. It's still there, people. Like and I think it's the universe's way in testing you. Mm-hmm. To see if you really will put out your crystals and your cards, and will you go out and say a prayer, or will you meditate, or will you, like, I think it's just kind of like, in order to go through levels of consciousness and and unconsciousness and spirituality, in order to grow, I personally believe, my belief is that there are tests along the path to rise. And I think one of the tests is even like the star, the eclipse, seeing a full moon. I think those are small little tests of your belief in your high vibration. Yeah. Like, so you can't, if you don't see it, you still believe it's there.
Yeah. It's trust in the invisible. Mm-hmm. Because energy is invisible.
Yeah.
I'll say for most people, because some people do see energy.
And I think, like you were saying with the eclipse, and you being in a kind of like the void area, I mean, that's perfect for the eclipse. Yeah. If you realize all the things that are happening to you and everything. So I mean, being in the void is actually a really good place to be when there's an eclipse, because I'm sure, and you can speak to it, I'm sure you grow more, or you realize more Even if it's realizing what you don't want. You come to those conclusions when you're floating around in there, right?
Well, I knew that I had to shift my thoughts and my vibration, because I kept thinking negatively and feeling that desperate energy, that I'm like, nope, you have to start doing what you can to lift that vibration. So put some music on, think some happy thoughts, listen to inspirational spiritual talks that will give you something new that might spark something, because it might be the thing that I needed to hear. Because that's why I was in the void. Because I wouldn't have, if I was busy, I wouldn't have heard it.
Right.
So, but I was able to shift my energy after that, because I started getting clear and I started writing out my intentions for 2021. That day, I'm like, okay, what do I want? Because obviously this isn't what I want today. So what do I want?
Who wants this? They can take it.
So I was getting clear on what I didn't want. So I'm like, okay, well, let's write down what I do want. And as soon as I did that, within a couple of days, stuff shifted and people started reaching out.
And do you find that hard to, because I know we do it all the time. So it's kind of ingrained in us to stop and write down what we want when we realize we're focusing on what we don't want. Mm-hmm. I know when I coach clients, I think it's hard, like they tell me it's hard for them to focus on what you want. So I think even when you set intentions, your words, as you know, are so powerful. So how do you get yourself into that mindset that this is a positive statement and stuff? Like if you ask, I always say to clients, if you ask somebody what they want for dinner, they will always tell you what they do not want to have. Mm-hmm. They never tell you what they want. When you say to your family, what do you want for dinner? Everyone says, oh, I don't want chicken again, or I don't want lasagna, or I don't want, a salad or whatever, but they never tell you what they want. And so I think it's really hard for us as humans to get into that mindset of saying and writing what we really truly want. But sometimes I don't think we know.
But partly we start to shift by even just saying, oh, good, now we know what we don't want. We've got that out of the way. Okay, good. Now what do we want?
So did you find yourself, when you were in that void and in that state, did you find yourself coming up with more things that you didn't want that you had to shift? Or I'm just curious.
I guess in some ways I did. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, I'm not enjoying today. So we don't want this. So but what do we want? So I was trying to visualize what I did want, what would make me feel good, and sometimes you don't know that, and also leaving the space that you're not committed necessarily to what you visualized. Mm-hmm. You leave it open for or better. So because then it leaves a space for it to be different, because then if it's not what you think it's going to look like, you get disappointed because you had it visualized, but there might have been an or better, but you didn't allow the or better.
Exactly. I think that's key. I mean, I think you've hit on something that's huge, is not only just the wording and making sure you're writing or saying what you want, but it's or better, because we're thinking in a 3D, 5D, some of us, or even higher world, but there's even things bigger than we could even imagine for ourselves. So if you say, I want a job that pays $50,000 a year, what if you could have gotten one that paid $100,000 a year?
Exactly.
So I think don't word it like, I want a job that pays $50,000 a year. You word it in such a way that it will be like exactly what you said, or better. Or more.
I always leave it or better than I can imagine. That is for my highest and best.
Yes.
Because it could be better, but it may not be the time yet.
Right.
For it to be that even better. So it might be some steps that are planned for me. It's the equivalent of, you can't go from 1 to 10 without, you have to go through all 10 numbers. You can't just go from 1 and skip everything else.
To get to 10. And I think that's exactly what I was saying about the levels of getting through it. So even with the setting intentions, there are levels to getting to the I receive, right? So it's exactly what you're doing. You're laying that foundation, that groundwork now for, instead of on New Year's Eve or the next day, January 1, going, okay, now I want to lose this amount of weight. I want a better job, or I want a job, or I want this. I want. It's like sitting down and going, what do you really, really, really want to manifest? And how is this all connected? Yeah. Right? Because it's not just, I want this, I want that, I want to shift this, I want to shift that. It's all connected. It's all, and when you realize it's your wording, it's how you set the intention, it's the action you put against it.
Yeah. And the overall theme really is, how do I want to feel? Why do I want it? Because what is the feeling I'm trying to create from this? Yeah. So overall is, what is that feeling? Because it may not, you may think it's the car, but it's not the car, it's the feeling of what that brings to you. So you may be able to achieve that feeling of peace by having something else that's not a car.
Right.
It might be.
Because all you really want is that feeling of peace. It's got nothing to do with the car.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally. I know for me, as I'm going through 2021 or going through, I've already been there. I'm just coming back to relive it. Maybe I have.
Maybe you have.
Who knows? But as I write down as I was and am writing down my goals, what I like to do is I just empty my head. So a lot of them may be not as positive or not as empowering as they could be as I start to write them down. But then when I write them all down, then I like to take the goals that I write and shift them into I am statements. Like exactly what you were saying, that feeling, because in order to manifest it, you have to have the feeling. So let's take I always use this analogy of like sports. If you've won a championship, you now have that feeling of what it is like to win. Yeah. So that is now ingrained in you. That's why a lot of these teams want people who have won the trophy, the ring, the whatever on their team, because they can inflict that energy, that feeling. If you can feel it, you can achieve it.
Yeah. The energy becomes contagious.
Exactly. And and if you can feel it, you can manifest it. Yeah. So if you can, I always like I say, write down the goals, write down the I am, write down if you're looking to publish a book or something or get a new job. So let's say you're looking for a new job. Then how does that new job feel to you? What do you feel like? Not like, oh, gee, I'm a creative designer and I'm looking to go to a new agency. I mean, that's kind of like, to me, flatline. Like that's just keeping it the same. So how does it feel? What if you were in the pit with everybody else creating, but you could now be a creative director or a chief marketing officer or I don't know, right? Yeah. But you could get yourself up. So
or something completely different that you never, that's not even been created yet.
Exactly. So how does it feel to be, so going back to your point about being peaceful, I think what you want is success. What you want is, like, I'm speaking for the person, but you want that feeling of, so what does it feel like to have that new job, that recognition, that validation, that success, that, that achievement, that accomplishment. And that's what you go for. So as you write these things, all your goals for 2021, how do you feel? Like, how does that make you feel when you write it? Do you write it and go, God, I'll never get that? Well, then, just take that one off the list, because guess what? You'll never get it. Yeah. Yeah. But if you can feel it.
Yeah. Or break it into smaller pieces so that if that seems not doable, well, what is doable? So put that on. So if, like losing weight, for example, I can't see myself losing, let's say 100 pounds, but you know what? Let's just break it down and say, okay, you know what? Let's just go for the 5 pounds.
Yeah, totally. I agree.
And just decide on that. I'm just going to worry about the 5 pounds. And then the next month you can think about the next 5 pounds. But this month, just think about the 5 pounds.
Yeah, I agree. And it's breaking it down into doable pieces that you can see accomplishing. Because how would you feel if you lost 5 pounds? Yeah. You would probably want to lose 5 more, because you've made it that far and you now know how it feels. Yeah. Right? That whole feeling of how proud you would be of yourself, how you would feel in your clothes, how you could get into old clothes. And so then you're moving on to achieve those things. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's totally, and I think that's why so many people fail at New Year's resolutions, because they're so grandiose. And it's like, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to go every day. And now we're in a pandemic and all the gyms are closed. And I mean, you're either going to be successful or not. So I would like to be successful and achieve it. So what's doable?
Yeah.
Like if you're home now and maybe you're furloughed or you've lost your job completely or something, like anything, or you're working, but you're working from home, it might be easier to work out every day because you don't have to get in the car and drive for an hour and a half to get to work and back. But make it so you can do it when you have to go back to work or when you get your job. And how do you incorporate these goals that you want to achieve into your everyday life? Because that's the only way you're going to be able to succeed. It's like the adding meditation. I always tell my clients you should add meditation to your day, and they're like, "Oh, there's no time. So you start. I mean, you're the expert on this piece, but I mean, you start small. You start with the in the shower meditation in the morning, right? You start in the car just prior to going into work. You set your intentions for the day, so your day flows with ease and grace. And you do the little things, and then on Sunday mornings, maybe when you have a few more minutes before the house starts getting up and active, you sit in your favorite chair in the corner and you just breathe in positivity and breathe out negativity. You just kind of just keep it simple.
Yeah, keep it as simple as possible, because, and then as you continue to do that and you feel better, because we're always reaching to feel better, not necessarily perfect, but better. Then you'll start being able to, you'll miss it when you're not doing it. So if you forget a day, you're going to like, hey, I didn't meditate today. Hey, you know what? And then you'll stop. And then you might say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do it right this second.
Yeah. And you're always the one who talks about routines and putting routines into your life and how important that is. And it is. It's so important because the routine becomes a habit. Yeah. And to your point, you're going, wait a second, why do I feel off? And then it's like, hey, I forgot to do this. Yeah. And it does become part of your life. Yeah. It's like when you start to eat healthy, you won't reach for the junk because you're feeling better. And you know, when you reach for the fresh vegetables and fruits for your snack, you start to feel better and you have more energy and you want to do things. So I mean, it's all tied together. Yeah.
And creating your toolbox. Creating your toolbox that that you're going to pull from to feel better.
Like what's in your, like, what would you suggest if someone doesn't have a toolbox? What do you mean? Like,
like the meditation, saying, okay, you know what? I'm having my cup of coffee or my cup of tea. I can meditate while I'm holding this cup and I can stare at the cup. So you're just, staring at it for a bit and just breathing. And that just gives you a focal point. Because the thing is, one reason why you want a focal point when you are meditating is because it stops your mind from wandering. So regardless of, you can use a candle or you can use your cup of coffee or your water or whatever, or a spot in the wall, but it stops your mind from wandering when your eyes stop moving.
Right.
So that gives you a moment of calmness.
Okay. And what else other than like a meditation do you have? I'm just curious.
Tea. Drinking tea.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Is calming because it's something that's, soothes you. Listening to music. I have certain music that I will put on. That's just calms my body. I'll listen to binaural beats. Yeah. To stop the thoughts, especially when you start going into you start spinning. Then I go into that toolbox. Okay, what are all the things I need today that I might need a few more extra today than another day? Or I've got nervous energy. Okay, I'm going to do some jumping. Just jumping around to music or jumping in spot just to sort of get that nervous energy out of the body. Or do something creative or,
Yeah, and it can be I find aromatherapy works really well, like any of the essential oils. I mean, people are all, I know you've got yours on behind you there. Yeah. People wear the bracelets with the lava bead that they can put the the essential oil on. You can put it behind your ears. You can put it on a pulse point, you know, before you go into the office. You can even have the bottle and smell it. Or if you're lucky enough, you can run one of those diffusers in your office space to give that scent, or carry it in your purse and, you know, on a break, you know, you just kind of give yourself a little lift with a
sometimes
meditation.
I've put it right under my nose sometimes.
Yes.
Like, because
you need a hit.
Well, yeah, especially, you know, depending on circumstances. If you're going into a circumstance where it might be heavy energy that you have to interact with, sometimes you need that, because that gives you the reminder and the protection from that heavier energy. Yeah.
And that's where I think the jewelry with that you can have it, or some people have the necklace with the little bead in it and stuff. I think that works really well. I find for me, it's on pulse points. Yeah. I'll be able to do that. And I have some of the ones that are roller balls that I can use in the office, where I can just go like this and pulse point it. And it's not offensive. It's not strong smelling. It's usually I can smell it. So it's good to keep some in my car. Not so much here in Canada in the winter, but I do have some in my purse, so I can do that. Crystals work well if you're able to get crystals, especially for grounding and keeping yourself, like how you were saying, keeping that focal point, keeping focused. Because when you do have that nervous energy or the worry, and you know, right now, I think the whole world is worrying about some aspect of something or angry about something. Yeah. So those crystals really help you stay focused. And again, it gives you a focal point. So you can hold it in your hand. You can wear it. You can you can sit it on your desk or sit it on your nightstand, and you can see it. So you can connect with that energy. You can meditate with it. Yeah. I think that works really well.
And even if you don't happen to have it with you, but you're out somewhere, you can just still visualize that crystal.
Yes.
And that energy is still with you.
Yeah. Even if you on your phone, if you could find a picture of that crystal. Because a lot of people may, and when you start visualizing, some people find it hard unless they physically can see the item. So even on your phone, if you're using amethyst and you forgot your amethyst, Google amethyst and pull up a nice picture of amethyst and sit there with it. Yeah. You know, get the vibrational energy. Every crystal has a vibrational energy, a megahertz value. Same with the essential oils. Yeah. Determine what that is, and find, like you were saying, find the music to that. You can listen to that if you have anxiety going into wearing a mask, going into the grocery store or whatever. You can put music on that's vibrational, and you can block out everything, all of especially if you're sensitive to others' energy and you don't even realize it. Or if you realize it, if you do that, it just kind of gives you this nice shield around you, that you can kind of protect yourself from all of the noise, the static that's out there. Yeah. And you can kind of just push it away and clear space for yourself.
Yeah. And same with the mask. If you're not comfortable wearing a mask, you can put essential oils in it to help give you that comfort and feel like you've got more space, because there's certain ones like rosemary and eucalyptus that help open up your air passages as well. That will help to, or even lavender to help you relax,
calm down.
You know, because some people, if you're feeling particularly claustrophobic and that makes you feel that way, those are good oils to help make you feel a little bit better.
Totally. And going back to the whole intention setting for 2021 and stuff, using essential oils while you come up with your goals, and using the crystals as you come up with your goals, as you meditate to get your goals, if you're not sure what they should be. You know, just even picking one. And there's no rule that says if I only have one in January, doesn't mean I can't have 12 in March. Because if you can accomplish one, it's almost like you're chiseling away at something really hard. So if you can crack that by having the one goal, like you said, losing 5 pounds, let's just pick that one. So if you can crack that goal of losing 5 pounds, it may open up your mind to eating healthier, adding exercise, meditating. Like it could open up a whole other thing that you don't even realize you could accomplish from that. So one of the things that I know you and I have done in the past, a little hard for us to do in a pandemic, is vision journaling.
Yeah.
So we've done a lot of that. We've taught classes on that and teaching people how to vision journal. I do happen to I found my vision journal.
Good.
There we go. So
I don't have yours? Okay,
no,
I forgot to pull mine out.
That's okay. So I have the vision journal. So what Samantha and I used to do is teach classes in this, where we'd have 10 people or so sit around a table, and we would first do a meditation of what you wanted to accomplish. What were your goals? Some people came in with goals, and some people, just sat there and went, okay, I'll have a goal come to me. So Samantha would do a nice meditation that would just walk us through, what we were thinking about and kind of the first things that come to mind. And then we would basically make these journals. So we literally took dollar store journals and cut and pasted all the things that resonated with us. And we made them, we did the covers, was part of it. And the whole goal was and I mean, this is just a sample. I don't know how well this is going to show up, but this is just a sample of what we did. And then you could write in these journals for the whole year. So you could find an image and then just doodle. You could write, literally write sentences and your goals and everything in them. So that is a great way to, if you journal or if you want to start journaling, create something on the front. And, that's a really quick way to do it, along with vision boards.
Yeah. So
you can take a piece of paper, cardboard, whatever, and put pictures of what you want to achieve. So what symbolizes, if you want it to have, I don't know, a new job, then you'd have a picture that symbolized maybe some things that you were interested in. Or if you wanted to take a trip, which I'm not sure anyone's going to be able to do this year, but we'll try. We're focused on it. I have a trip on mine for the end of the year. But I have one on there. And so you put up what you want on there. What we can do is include a link in this, Sam, to Canva, because you can create a digital version and move images and stuff, so you could have it be your screensaver. You could have it be your wallpaper. You could print it out and put it right in front of you while you're working, so you can start to remember, oh yeah, I wanted to publish that book. I wanted that new job. I want it to be healthier. I wanted to exercise. Oh, look, there's the meditation. I forgot to meditate today. So it kind of gives you those prompts to do that.
And it's nice combining the pictures and the words and the writing and the journaling, compared to the vision boards. The vision boards are sort of static, whereas the journal can keep evolving through your year. So you can keep adding to it, and you get clearer over time, because those goals that you may have had may start to just morph into something else.
Yeah,
which is totally fine. Totally fine. You don't have to be stagnant to that first idea, because I'm going to call it basically your first draft, right? And as time it starts to evolve, and you just, like we were talking earlier about, leaving it open to the or better, so that it has that movement. Because there may be things that you never occur to you that show up that you're like, hey, I love this better.
Agree. Yeah. And I mean, I know that when you and I were teaching, when we first started, it was more guiding people to come up with, air quote, New Year's resolutions, right? Because that's kind of the way it all kind of starts, because that's the mindset of the masses is, oh my gosh, it's December 31st. I need to have a resolution. And then we never keep it by March. Yeah. The gyms are empty and nobody's eating well and blah, blah, blah. So, and then we start again in October going, woe is me, my life sucks. Yeah. And then we wait until December 31st, and then we try to pull something out of the air. So one of the things I know that you and I have done that simplifies that whole thing is come up with a word, just one word or a short sentence or something, just a short statement that we're going to focus on. Yeah. And when you were talking about how it evolves, I just want to share, I went through and pulled my journals that had my words. So I started out, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's 5 years ago. So my first word was simplicity. So it was simplifying everything in my life because I had made everything so complicated, and it always revolved around me being the pivoting point of everything that needed to get executed in my family. So I just simplified so many things. From that, it rolled into freedom. Because I had simplified everything, I had some time. So I had freedom was my next word. And then it was on having, the next word was expansion. Because I now had the freedom, I was able to go and expand things. I took some courses, delved into a few things, did some personal work. You know, it was expanding me and everything around me. And ironically, last year, my word was fearlessness. Well, this year, I shouldn't say last year, because see, I'm talking like I've already experienced it again. In 2020, my word was, I think I'm having a deja vu here. In 2020, my word was fearlessness, which when I started out, my intention for fearlessness was stepping into me and putting my work out there. You know, you know way more about me than anybody knows. So my adversity and pushback to sharing my knowledge on tarot, like all of that stuff was what I wrote. When I wrote that in December about fearlessness, that was the focus. It was not having to make it through a pandemic and change everything. So it was kind of ironic what I had vision for myself, like exactly what you're saying, it morphed over time. And I realized this year, in my fearlessness year, I got a lot more courage than I even give myself credit for, just of dealing with everything, homeschooling, a high school student, like all this kind of stuff, both people working from home, I'm in an industry where it's, you know, the pandemic hit hard, and just I'm totally grateful for what I have, but the fearlessness of stepping into that was huge. So when it came to this 2021, I was like, I'm not even sure what, like I feel a little, not run down, but I feel a little overwhelmed, a little not knowing what the future will be at all. And when I sat and meditated, it was more about strengthening my foundation, because I feel that if the foundation is not solid, if I'm not solid, then moving forward and building anything on top of a cracked foundation or a rocky foundation is not going to hold for the long run. So now I'm going to step back this year and work on strengthening my foundation. So my mental health, emotional health, physical health, like that is going to be, I'm going to do all the things on my list that I have, and I'm going to drive towards those goals. However, the focus will be every time I do something, it's going to be, is this strengthening me or is this just adding more that I can't keep up, right? Like, am I growing and becoming stronger from this? Or am I just adding more stuff to hold up? So I just wanted to share that, because it's just working on words and how it builds up. I don't know if you want to share any of your words or if that.
Well, I've used in the past freedom as well. I'm still contemplating my word for this year. It still may be freedom. But freedom for me was of releasing and finishing a lot of things in the last couple of years, and because that would give me the freedom, because I really wanted to. I had different things that I really needed to complete, and I knew that they were important. Energetically, I knew that something was coming. Energetically, I knew about October of 2019 that something was coming. I didn't know what.
Right.
So I knew I needed to complete a lot of things and get them out of the way, because I knew I needed the time for 2020 to keep spreading the light and shifting the light and raising the vibration, because I knew something was coming, but I didn't know what it was. So that I knew that was important. And that I'm kind of being drawn to the word of, I guess it's sort of two words, or three words, spreading the light.
Right. Yeah.
And that sort of still feels like that is sort of my 2021 focus. And that's keeping the light within me, as well as helping other people to keep that light and keep raising that vibration of feeling better. And by feeling better and helping others to feel better.
That's great. And I find it interesting how both of us have like almost sentences this year, and we've always had just one word.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there is one word going into 2021. I'm trying to be fearless in my word choice, but I'm almost frightened to pick a word. But yeah, I mean, it's almost feels like you're to hold course and keep the strength and keep the light, because we're going to need it. Like, I feel like whenever I used to do, every year I've done a tarot reading that's like a 12-month reading. And this year people were asking, are you going to do your 12-month card reading? And I'm like, last year when I did it, it was very interesting, because January, the card was fine. February, after March, almost every card was in reverse. And it was and people make fun of me because I always try to make these readings positive, even when it's like, oh my gosh, it's like doom and gloom. I'll find a way to spin it, because there always is a lesson. And if you can learn the lesson, it's always a positive thing. Even if bad things happen to you, if you can find that ray of light, the hope, you've learned from it. So it was really, really difficult. Like, I'm getting all trying to say it. It was really difficult last year to do this. And see, look, it's my truth coming through. Oh goodness, it was very difficult to do it. And when I started to do it this year, I thought, oh yeah, I should do a 12-month. And I thought, no, you know what? I'm going to, that is not going to help my foundation. That will not help me be strength. If I, not that I know what the cards will say, but if I put this out and they're all reversed, I'll probably go, okay, forget it, close up my book and go. So I'm going to do it differently this year and do one. I felt that we needed to release this year. This 2020 needs to be released. I think all of us, before we set intentions, before we go into December 31st, we have to release this year. And for me personally, in order to release, I have to find the gratitude in what happened. So as that little ray of hope, you have to find it. So my advice would be to people, as you release this year to welcome in the new year, it's only going to be fully, completely released from us if we can find the gratitude, if we can find even one thing that was good about this year, just one thing. If you learned one lesson, that's great. And then you release everything else that no longer serves you. So all the things, all the fears that you have, release that, because you do not want to take that into 2021. And
you can release them by thanking those fears, because they're bringing them to the surface for you to look at them and heal them.
Yeah, and that's that give thanks and be grateful for even the negative things. That's exactly right. You're right. That's perfect. Being grateful for those, and then welcoming in that you're going to attract all of the new opportunities that will be to your highest good, or better, or more, as you say, right? So in attracting all of the opportunities that are the best thing for you. And it might be hard to come up with a list of things you want, but even if you do that, if you give thanks for what has happened and find the lessons in what has happened, or be grateful for what they've shown you, even if it's negative, be grateful that you, like to use what you just said, to have that experience, and then welcome in the new, and be open to receiving those opportunities. Because from the messages that I'm getting, what's being told to me when I'm channeling is it's not going to be a cakewalk. It's going to be kind of tough, but it doesn't mean it's going to be horrendous. It just means that we just need to be prepared and move forward, keep moving forward, keep marching forward, keep spreading the love, keep being open to receiving, being open to sharing and showing people the light, keeping our vibration high, strengthening who we are, knowing who we are.
And also sort of think of, like, my thought for 2020 was really 2020 was like summer school.
A very long summer school.
Well, it's like summer school where, we've had the school of life from the day we were born to whatever age we are now. We had opportunity to learn so many things in that time period.
Yeah.
Some things were not being learnt quick enough. So 2020 is like, here's your crash course. You're going to summer school. Learn it now. And if you didn't learn it now, 2021 is going to continue that for you to have this. You're going to repeat the year and have a crash course. And, but there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with repeating something. But let's learn from it.
Yeah. And I mean, I think for me, 2020 was as negative as it has been. It's been extremely positive because you do at moments see the positivity and the love and the sharing of light in people. It's very easy for us to focus on the negative because society, the news, all of that is just sheer negativity. I mean, it's at the end, they try to find a nice story, but they've just polluted your mind with all this negativity and number of cases and deaths and just, it's like, oh my God, like or show us things of people not following the rules. It's like, it's become this very like people snitch lines, people snitch on their neighbors. And
well, it becomes division again.
Totally.
So whether you agree with somebody or not, it doesn't matter. There's still a unity consciousness, right? That we should show love and care for each other, regardless of whether you agree with the opinion or not.
Agree. Yeah, I agree with that opinion. No, it's true. It's like, it just shows us. And I think even if you are, air quote, following the rules, it shows you, it gives you, I don't want to say a 30,000 foot view, but it gives you another perspective as to how people are thinking and how sometimes I think you think everyone thinks like you. And especially in like, if you're on social media, you think everyone has the same thoughts as you. And I know you and I have had this conversation before because we're following people like us. So of course we think the whole world is like this, but it's not. And I think it's our jobs to, as I don't even know what our title would be, as light workers, energy healers, as messengers, is to promote the positivity and show that like, even though our lives, we've had so much upheaval, we still keep a constant, like I have so much hope, probably too much hope. People have told me I have too much hope. And I know you do too. And I know your life has been upheaved too. So, I mean, it's like, if people were to watch you on Facebook or Instagram and myself on YouTube and all this, it's because we're holding the space, we're holding the light, we're keeping positive because it is positive. There is so much positivity. It's just that people are so, it's so easy to look at the car wreck, right?
Yeah.
It's so easy to judge people and give your opinion like, well, if it was me, I would have homeschooled my kids this way, or I wouldn't have sent my kids to school, or like everything to your point is being split down. It's judged. It's like so judgmental.
Yeah.
And that energy right now, when you go out, if you are, even if you're feeling bad and you don't even know why you're feeling bad, it's the energy of everyone around you. You might be very empathic and you're picking up on so many people. And I think with what's happened in 2020, it's awakened some people and they're out there going, why do I feel like garbage all of a sudden? Because they were awakened and they don't even realize that they might be it's not theirs, it's somebody else's.
And they're picking up thoughts that they don't understand and think it's theirs. And why am I thinking this way? Because I've never thought this way before. But I'm thinking this and confused.
Yeah.
You know?
No, seriously. Oh, that's a lot.
Yes.
Woo, that was heavy. Oh my goodness.
But the good news is like the things that seem dark have been brought up to be healed. So even if you don't agree with some of the circumstances that have happened in the world, I'm like, thank goodness that's being brought up for us to heal it, because it's been hidden for so long.
Yeah.
I don't agree with the stuff that was hidden, but thank goodness it's being brought to light to be changed.
Yes. And now it's you know, it's on us to change it, right? So
Absolutely.
if it goes back and becomes a shadow again, that's on us too.
Absolutely.
So it's up to us, even in, you know, as we head into 2021. That's why I think it's so important to have one just little goal. One, even if it's to like be more positive. Think about what comes out of your mouth, or what you write, or the hate you spew about someone's decision or something, right? The politics, whatever, it doesn't even matter, right? We all have an opinion. We're all armchair coaches. It's easy for us to be, oh, I wouldn't have done that. Well, yeah, because you can see the outcome right now. Of course you wouldn't have done that, right? Why would you make that same mistake? So yeah, I think as we go into 2021, we need to have a goal, just one goal, even if it's to be more positive.
And just watch the complaining.
Yeah.
You know,
yes.
You know what I mean? Like you can, there's nothing wrong with complaining to a certain point, because you have to let it out of your body, but not let that be your whole day. You know, take 15 minutes to say it, write it down, let it out, or have a friend, and then, okay, we're done with that. Now what do we do to change that?
And I mean, I think you and I we have a good relationship. Like when she says find a friend, that's so important to find a friend who's a non-judgmental friend. That might be tougher. Finding a friend's probably the easy part. Finding someone who you can say and expose your weaknesses to without them reminding you of it over and over and over again is completely different. Because I call it bad hair days. I've had many bad hair days where I've called you and I've just been like, right? And I mean, no judgment, no reminding me of it. Unless there was a lesson learned, you'll remind me if I haven't learned it. But that's a good friend. Right?
No, but in a positive way. There's no vindictiveness in it. It's just,
no, of course not.
Did you notice?
Yeah, there's a pattern here, Care. Yeah. And that's what you need. You need someone who can help you do that, especially in 2021.
Yeah.
It's aligning yourself. We all say it, with my tribe, with like-minded people, all the cliches, but you really do need to align yourself with the positive people. It's so easy to follow the doom and gloom. That vibration, that low vibrational energy is so easy to assimilate to. It's much harder to, I'm speaking to the converted, but it's much harder to hold that vibration high. And beware, when you have a high vibration, you will attract the really nasty, ugly, low vibration stuff. Because it's like moths to a flame.
Exactly.
You are the flame, and you are now attracting all of those people that are like, oh. And as you pointed out to me, narcissists. Narcissists will flock to you. Because their whole job is to take you down, right? So it's like a game to them. So here you are shining bright, and you're doing your thing, and you're moving along, and boom, they appear. And it's so easy because you are that positive energy person with a lot of hope to try to shift that person or help that person, or you can save them. You know, that type of, you have that type of feeling.
Yeah, and especially as empaths, that's tends to be an empath's pattern, is to rescue and to heal. I mean, and we are here to help heal, but not at the detriment of ourselves.
Right. And that takes, going back to the friendship, that takes when you're with like-minded people and there is no judgment, they will point out to you that is happening. Because you can see it. Maybe for me personally, when I was in it, couldn't see it until you clearly pointed it out. And then it was kind of like hello, of course. And I know this. I could point it out to you, but because I was in it.
It's too hard to see. It's too hard to see.
Exactly. And that's why you need to be aligned with the right people. And when I say that, I mean the positive people, the people that when you listen to, you go, oh, yeah, that makes sense to me. I resonate with that. Or when you listen, they make you feel good. Versus the ones that you want to write, that's wrong. Why would you say that? Like don't waste your time. Unfollow, unfriend, unsubscribe. Like, so clean out your feed in social media that, because now we're reliant on it even more, that we can't get to people. We can't attend seminars and talks and stuff. Everything is online. So it's all being targeted at you. So if you like this person, let's say you like someone who may not be good for you, a public figure or something that's saying things that you're kind of, if you follow them, you're now being targeted with all the people that
get more of the same.
Like,
more of the same. Yeah. More of the same.
Exactly. So be careful who you like, follow, subscribe to, because they may not be supporting your highest good.
Yeah.
And so if it makes you feel bad when you listen to them, or if you get kind of, why don't I feel good about it? Like, if you find yourself just kind of questioning, like, I don't know about that, maybe it's time to like unfollow, like it's time to.
And ask yourself the questions of, why did this particular person or situation make me feel this particular way, so that you identify that pattern. Because
it's a trigger. Obviously, it's a trigger to you.
Yeah.
So what is that trigger? And you're right, to your point. Why? Why did I feel like that?
And it could be just an energy. It could be the energy that the other person's giving you, but you don't, the words and the energy may not be matching. And you may be picking up on that. And so you want to ask yourself, why am I feeling this particular way when I witnessed this or saw this? Or because then you start to identify and you get to know yourself better.
Yeah, totally. I laugh because I'm just seeing some things that you've said to me in the past that I will not share on this, but all learning, all very good learning things, all very good learning.